Get ready with me as I talk to y'all and get ready. So I just made a video in regards of do not be like the Israelites, the original Israelites. But what I forgot to say is the reason why. God told them, you will never see your promised land. Your kids will see it before you see it. So understand, God is not playing. These people, regardless of what God did, they still didn't believe. Regardless of what God did, they felt as though what God was doing was more harsh than what they've been through. Understand, they said, I'd rather go back to where I came from than to stand in this wilderness. You gotta be some type of, how should I put this? And it's so crazy because this reinforces trauma. It reinforces limited beliefs. It reinforces the conditioning mindset. Because understand, for you to say that you'd rather go back than to stand in uncertainty, but certainty to know that you're going to be delivered to milk and honey in somewhere that was far more better than Egypt, for you to say that you'd rather go back is to show that trauma is so debilitating, and it's so mind altering to the point where it will have you believing a distorted truth. I need y'all to go and read it. I need y'all. So understand, I understand that it may not be your fault because of the things that we have experienced. And trust and believe, I'm not speaking from an objective perspective. I'm speaking from a subjective perspective, meaning and an empathetic perspective, because I've been through many traumas, many. But God has called me out. He has called me into the wilderness. And this is why I make the content that I make, okay? Because let me tell you something. I refused. And let me tell you something. When you're on your journey, it's going to be a point where you say, should I keep on going or should I turn back around? And this is where the Israelites is a prime example, because are you going to stand like the Israelites and say, you know what, I'd rather go back than to move forward and obtain what God has already told me? Or continue to move forward and suffer the things that God has said that I am going to receive? Now, let me say this. What are the fruits of the Spirit? You have joy, you have peace, you have temperance, you have long suffering. So one thing that you can definitely identify in the Israelites is that they did not have the fruits of the Spirit. They did not have temperance. They did not have peace. They did not have patience. They did not have long suffering, because once again, they were suffering in the wilderness, and they chose to say, not even chose to say, their mind was so distorted and they couldn't suffer any longer, which is, I get it. When you have been tormented and gone through the things that you have gone through, sometimes you don't see a way through. But understand, once again, fruits of the Spirit, when you are connected to Christ, that's when you bear the fruits of the Spirit, and you will be able to endure, even if you think that you can't. Even if you think, I remember, as I'm saying these words, I remember a time where I felt like I couldn't go on. Like literally. I'm like, God, how is you going to bring me through? But for one thing for sure, how I knew I was connected to God was that I was willing to suffer. I refused to go back to where I was. Because you want to know why? Even if I chose to go back to where I was, that was a suffering that I did not want to endure. I knew, for one, it wasn't going to be no promises there. We all know where we came from. We all know the things that we've endured. And once again, we was a slave to our sins too. So we wasn't innocent in the traumas in the past and whatever we were connected to and where we came from. Understand, we was connected. We was a slave. So understand, you're going to not only be delivered when you get to where you're going, but you also have a connection. Now you have a source, okay, which is Christ. So please don't be like the Israelites. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to preach to y'all, but hope y'all have a good day.